Queensland, Australia. Good afternoon, good evening to you if you happen to be in other parts of the globe, and thanks for tuning in to this very quick broadcast. I just quickly want to show my latest livery design. It's a McLaren 650S GR4 car. I'm in Photoscapes at the moment, so I'll just give you a quick few snaps that I've taken of it. Then I'll jump into preview and we can have a bit of a look around the car. So let's go from the start. There you can see the livery, and as I said, it's I may not have said it, it's an inverted JPS design. Obviously JPS cars traditionally have been black with gold. I've decided to put a slightly different tint on it because I like to try and be a bit original, and as a result of that I have done it as mainly gold with a little bit of red mixed in as well, and then black highlights, if you like, or black accents. So oops, wrong way, sorry. So you can see there obviously the JPS livery in the middle, and then the black accents with I guess a key red accent in the middle. Yeah, anyway, I'll just flick quickly through the photos, give you a chance to have a look at them. There are quite a few. I think if I give you about 7 or 8 seconds per photo, that should be enough for you to take it all in. And then I'll just keep jumping to the next picture. In fact, I'll make it 10 seconds for each one. That's more than enough time, I hope. Some of these I haven't pictured up on Scapes Photos, so there are a few extra ones you'll get to see here that didn't make the cut, for want of a better term, on Scapes Photos. I'm also mindful of how many pictures people will look through in Scapes Photos. I like that picture. It took a lot of work to design, and I'll talk more about that in the preview. Suffice to say, the trickiest part was doing the accents around the wheel arches and the edge of the car's body, and in particular the headlights in that front section. I can't remember how much time, but I think conservatively it took me about an hour to an hour and a half to do that part. And so yeah, it was tricky. The rest of the car wasn't too bad, apart from doing the alignments of the lines on the side of the car, and then of course on the front bonnet and the roof to try and get them all consistent as well. But yeah, it was look, I enjoyed the task. It was like all designs, you start off and you have a bit of an idea in your head what you want to do, and you start doing it, and then you start to get some other ideas, and then you think to yourself, oh okay, is that the right idea or is it not? The one thing that I do need to do, and I saw this earlier, is I do need to correct that right headlight, the black line. If you have a close look, you see that it's slightly different to the one on the left. It doesn't taper in the same straight trajectory as the one on the left, so I do have to fix that, and I will do that. I won't do it when I jump into preview because I don't have time this morning. This is the 650S Group 4 GR4 with its two bigger brothers, my two P1 GTRs. The one on the left was the one that I did first, and you can just make out the Iflowboy on the bonnet there. The problem with the McLaren GT1 is where you put your my handle, for want of a better term, or my Iflowboy at YouTube message, so that people know who I am and where they can go and search to see more of the stuff that I do on YouTube. So I've had to improvise and either put it on the front bonnet or put it on the line at the side where the I guess the scalloped scoops are on the side of the car for airflow. You'll see in a second when you can see Iflowboy written there on the left hand side on the blue bonnet. But on the red, grey and white McLaren P1 on the right, I've actually done it on the side of the car, on the left-hand side from memory. So that, again, people can try and find me if they want to see more, watch the broadcasts, or go and look at Scapes photos, or anything like that. This is just the same picture but using a different effect. One day I will spend some time talking about the use of the effects in Scapes photos when you're creating your pictures. I don't think I'm an expert by any stretch of the imagination. I'm still learning and I still have a lot to learn, but I think there's a lot of things that people, when they start out, it would be handy for them to understand, and it'll help them put their pictures together much more quickly, I guess. I'm still not decided about whether I'm going to leave the roof the way it is. I had an idea around those shapes, because I couldn't really continue it on down past the engine cover. But I'm not quite sure whether what I've done there is how I want to leave it. I may make a change to those two triangular shapes that the stripes lead on to. So stay tuned on that one. I like that picture because it gives you a good overview of the scheme of the livery design itself. Yep, another similar shot. That again is using what they call the bleach bypass effect. I quite like how it just seems to really accentuate or define the graphics on the car. I don't know whether you picked that up. The next shot I think will be using another filter that makes it look like it's a chrome silver, and again it does the same thing. Yeah, it's like a black and white, but it makes it look silver, and I really like how it's come out. It was the first time I think I've done a picture using that effect, so I feel like I got very lucky, and I'm sure that if I do another livery and do another picture, even or in another location, it may not come out looking so good. Same picture again, but with a different filter. You can see the different effect that the filter has on the colour, and that one doesn't appear to accentuate the design as much, but yeah, it looks okay. This is one of the effects pictures, which I don't think I posted this one in Scapes photos, so you won't see this if you go looking for this car in Scapes photos. Again, I haven't done a lot of work playing around with these effects, so I'm still learning, but I quite liked that shot when I did it. I think, yeah, there's a rear one with a different effect in that same, if you like, background image. They call it one of the techniques areas within Scapes photos that you go into, and this one obviously applies raindrops to give it that, just washed kind of effect. Yeah. Again, the key here is getting your alignments right, and I spent a bit of work doing that because obviously there's three actual lines that constitute the side strips or pinstripes, so you had to get the alignments right so that it looked correct. Okay, this is a picture that also I don't think made it onto Scapes photos, and I thought I'd just grab similar GR4 cars, or sorry, that's a lie, because that Ferrari is a GR3 car and so is the Porsche RSR. But they're similar in the fact that they use the gold and black, I guess. You can see individual photos of both the 458 Group 3 or GR3 car and the Porsche 911 RSR in Photoscapes. If you go searching for Iflowboy, you will find them in there. Same location, just again the McLaren back on its own, using the nostalgia effect, I believe. Yeah, don't know what else to tell you about that. I haven't gone for a lot of brand decals. I want really to try and keep it as clean as I can. Obviously I put one or two on there, and obviously there's also the reference to Old School, a friend of mine whose PlayStation ID is oldschool_327HZ off the top of my head. He unfortunately passed away earlier this year, but he was a great friend and an avid PlayStation 4 GT Sport player and previous GT game versions as well. So I put that on my liveries now as a tribute to him. Looks like a repeat photo, so let's get on with it. This is the last set of pictures that I did, and I actually did these after I did the original set of photos this morning. I don't know why, but I always love the I guess the picturescape of the Westminster Abbey in the background. So I thought I'd, obviously being a McLaren, being an English/UK car, made some sense to bring it here and do some photos. So I've done one or two here of the car on its own, just giving it a bit of an angled look there to again just show off the livery more than anything. And then after this car, I think I bring in the other two McLarens, the P1 GTRs again. I like the way the sun's reflecting on that picture. That I think is a bleach bypass one, so yeah, again, really like it. And there are the three brothers. I do have more McLarens. I do have, I think I've done 7 or 8 McLaren livery designs. Again, if you go into Photoscapes, you'll see definitely individual photos of the other two McLarens here, the P1 GTRs. Whether I've posted any others, I think I might have done one of my McLaren 650S police car and maybe 1 or 2 others. I can't recall whether I've done broadcasts with them, but certainly some of the broadcasts where I'm in car shows, they would have made an appearance. I apologise, you'd have to sift through a lot of footage to find those. I think this is the final shot. I may have done this in a couple of different effects, so you might see this one a couple of times. But you can see on the middle McLaren there, the red, white and grey one, the Iflowboy written down the bottom left just above the side sill. You can see the Coca-Cola livery, but then below that in white is Iflowboy at YouTube, which is written in black. And then on the black and blue McLaren, or fluoro blue McLaren on the end, it's written on the front bonnet, because I did want to mess up the side with the nice clean look that it had, different with the middle McLaren because it already has the red stripe, but I wanted to keep the all black nice and clean on the other McLaren. Yeah, so like I said, same photo, just a different filter. Again, it just gives the cars a bit of a different look, I guess. Gives you the chance to see them in different sort of exposures, I guess, for want of a better term. And that should be the last picture. I'm not sure which of those three. I did post one of them onto Photoscape, so I'm not sure which one. Anyway, so that's the car in Photoscapes. What I'll now do is I'm going to go into livery design preview and just bring it up so we can do a bit of a 360 degree multi-dimensional overview of the car and the livery, and I'll talk about that not for long, only for about 4 or 5 minutes, and then I'll end the broadcast. Like I said, I've got 100 and what did I say? Oh, I've made a mistake. I've got 186 according to that record there, not 187. I apologise for my mistake. I thought I had 187. There you go. Okay, let's have a look at the car. So, like I said, took a lot of work to do the red edging, because obviously the chrome is a special colour and you only have access to it when you are doing what's called the paint all, which is where I start my livery design process, selecting the overall colour that you want to go for. You can't access the chrome when you're actually in the rest of the livery editor or in the decal section, so therefore you have to effectively work around that base colour. So doing the wheel arches around and preserving the gold, which I want to do around the the last part of the the guard before you get to the tyre and the wheel. Took a bit of time, and then obviously doing the rest of the lines, particularly around this front edge. Very, very tricky getting the shapes right and trying to keep the width of the line the same. Very, very tricky as well. So it took me a lot of time, and there's quite a lot of decals. If I click on decals in a second, you'll see exactly how many there were. Again, I tried to make the car look a bit different by the intertwining of the red. So again, doing those circles wasn't easy, and I can see that the edges are not exactly perfect on that outside black circle, so I may go in and try that again. That's because it's composed of, I think, 6 different arch decal sections joined, and that's obviously where they're overlapping, which I didn't see when I was doing the design originally. It was all showing as being quite well aligned. So obviously that's not the case. I need to fix that, tidy it up a bit, just for my own satisfaction and awareness more than anything. What else? Like I said, so those stripes on the side are actually, there's 3 different lines there. It's not one continuous line that goes along, and that's because the gold chrome, as I mentioned, is the base colour, so you can't layer below that, you can only layer above it. So for me to do those stripes on either side of the car, I had to do 3 sections of lines and then align them all. And again, there's ways that you do that using, basically what I did is I used what I call a blank white billet line shape, put that across the JPS special logo, and then aligned each subsequent line to that so that I did get it perfect. What else can I tell you? There's the reference to old school right there. That's a decal livery that I now put on all my cars, and it's usually found around the C-pillar somewhere. It might be sitting on the arch just below the C-pillar start, or it might be on the C-pillar depending on the vehicle design itself. The rear spoiler, again, bit of a mix there of the colours, a tiny bit of red to give it a bit of contrast. I still might play with the engine hood, but I suspect I cannot do anything to it, but I might be able to do something to the vent at the back there and just put maybe some stripes through the back there. I haven't decided yet whether I play with that or leave it alone. And then the rear of the car, again, very tricky, particularly the top part, doing the top of the lines as it went into those scallop sections in the middle, just near the rear wing support brackets. Yeah, that took a lot of time as well, and it's probably not perfect, but it was as good as I could get it. Now, obviously, as I said, I couldn't use the gold chrome at the back because that's a plate there. So I've had to improvise with that colour for where my Iflowboy at YouTube moniker is. And again, I haven't played with that rear diffuser. I could perhaps jump in and make it gold and then do some stripes on that. I might do that when I'm cleaning up those things that I've just spotted. But essentially, that's the car. I'm quite happy with it. I like the idea of doing an inverted one. Yeah, it's just a different look, and I like it. Okay, well, that is where I'm going to end the broadcast. I hope that you have enjoyed it. I will talk more about livery design in subsequent broadcasts, and I may even do another broadcast while I'm in here fixing this, talking a bit about some design techniques and using the editor as you do your designs. But for now, I want to thank you all for watching, and like I said, please continue to look for my stuff. Thank you very much for looking at anything that you do look at. Please, if you feel like it, subscribe to my channel, and I hope to continue doing this, and the more people that subscribe, the more, I guess, encouragement that I have to continue doing it and to do more and more and more, and to dedicate more time to doing it. But for now, Thank you very much and enjoy your day.